Hey, today we're going to be talking about trimming up half square triangles when you don't have that specialty ruler. There's a lot of specialty rulers out there, everybody's got their favorite, but sometimes you don't have it, and sometimes that specialty ruler is not big enough for the half square triangle you are needing. So today I'm going to show you how to trim them up using your very basic 12.5-inch square ruler, and you can also use a 6.5-inch square ruler, and you'll need some washi tape for marking. So let's learn how to do this. So this is my favorite ruler for making half square triangles, and this ruler will make half square triangles from 1 inch all the way up to 6.5 inch. But I am currently making 12.5-inch half square triangles, so I'm going to be using my giant 12.5-inch square ruler. And I thought while I'm doing a tutorial for how to make those giant half square triangles, I might as well show you how to make any size half square triangle when you don't have a specialty ruler. I'll be working with this 12.5-inch square ruler from Havells, and I've also got the 6.5-inch Havells square ruler. You start out with your background fabric. So you'll have a background and a foreground, or whatever you're working with, your two fabrics. And I've gone ahead and I've drawn a line on the back of this fabric, diagonal from one point to the next. And then you'll put right sides together, just like this. And since I'm making such a big one, I thought I'll go ahead and I'll put a few pins in it so I don't have to struggle with it at my sewing machine. But if you're making a smaller size, I would not pin this at all. All right, and just like you know in my other methods of making half square triangles, we'll go and sew a 1/4 inch on both sides of this drawn line. So I have sewn on both sides of my line, and then I just like to give this a press just to set the seam. Then you're gonna take a ruler and you're gonna line it up on that diagonal line that you drew, and then you're just gonna cut with your rotary cutter, and that'll turn these into 2 half square triangles. So you are going to open these seams up, and we're just going to take our finger, slip it in the seam to open it, and then this first press is going to be really light. I'm barely pressing down on the fabric, and then flip it over, and then we'll press. And you'll notice that I'm not doing this because that will warp it, because you've cut it on the bias now, so you just want to press. I'm going to do the same thing for this other half. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and throw some starch on it, like that, and then press again. This just really makes them a little bit stiffer, and then they're more easy to work with when you've got starch on them. You tend to not make as many mistakes when you use starch. All right, so I'm making 12.5-inch half square triangles, and my ruler is a perfect 12.5 inch. So really, I don't even have to work that hard for this one. I'm just going to make sure that this diagonal line is lined up with my seam line, and then I am going to barely have anything to trim off. Looks like it's just going to be these little tails. I'm just going to trim all the way around the ruler. All right. So that is it for the giant 12.5 inch. They come out really just perfect. So let's talk about when you wanted to cut like something like this, and all you have is one of these. So let's say that I want to trim this to 4.5 inches, and all I've got is this square ruler. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some tape, and this is just basic washi tape that I picked up. It was really cheap. And I'm going to find the 4.5 inch line going this way. And I'm going to try to put my tape right on that line. Just like that. And then I'm going to find the 4.5 inch line going this way. And I'm going to do the same thing. All right, and then, see, I've still got that center line in this ruler. And if you have that smaller ruler, a 6.5 inch square ruler, it's the exact same thing. You would still tape it up just the way I'm doing. And then you'll go one side first. So we don't want to go on too far to the edge. But what we'll do is we'll put that center line right down there on our seam, and then we'll cut this way, just like that. And then you'll rotate it around 180 degrees, and then you'll line back up. But this time, you're gonna make sure your corner is right there in your actual corner on the the fabric piece, and that these lines are hitting the bottom of your half square triangle and then the side of your half square triangle. You're also going to make sure that center line is lined up right there, and then you'll do it again. And then there's a 4.5 inch half square triangle. So that is how you do it with these basic rulers when you don't have one of those specialty rulers or you're making really big half square triangles. That's it.